Hi, welcome to another episode of Silver Fox Scotland. I've said many times you do not let the police into your house without a warrant. Keep them on the doorstep, talk to them on the doorstep, but make it clear they cannot enter your home. And I'm going to give you an example as to why this is so important. I've talked before, either here on the main channel, about a man called Peter Todd, who I called him the modern day Rob Roy. He is a challenge to the SNP government. He is the heaviest user of Freedom of Information Act that exists, really. He's done hundreds of these things. He's actually been labelled in internal memos as a troublemaker and one to watch. He's currently campaigning about health and the centralisation of health in his area. And he's been using FOI requests to get as much information as possible, including WhatsApp messages. The Information Commissioner eventually had to step in, and these things were released to him, and he's got a whole stash of stuff. On Sunday, he had a visit from two police officers knocking on the door, wanted to talk to him. They invited themselves in. He let them in. He should not have let them in. And they told him that they'd been informed that information released to him under the Freedom of Information had to be destroyed. It was unredacted and it couldn't be out there in the realm. And he said, well, it's far too late for that. They sent it to me. That puts it into the public domain. He said he's been talking with newspapers, media, he's published things, all this sort of thing. They told him that that was wrong and that he must destroy it there and then in front of them. He refused and asked them to leave. They didn't want to leave immediately, but he made it clear that if they didn't, they'd be in breach and that was serious consequences and so forth. They had to go. They left empty-handed and the data has not been destroyed. He's saying he is not going to destroy anything until the statutory authorities investigating these matters are fully compliant, up to date, and have everything. He says then and only then will he destroy any data that he has received. Quite right, Peter Todd. However, having invited those police in, that is taken as an invite to present. That means they could, within their rights, look around, and if they found that data, they could take it and destroy it, and he'd have nothing to do. There's nothing he could have done about it. Now, as he says, luckily, he keeps his data locked away. It's all, the papers, files, recordings, discs, whatever. He keeps it all locked away. It's not readily accessible. But if it was, say, laying on a table, they could have quite legally picked it up and destroyed it there and then. And so, first of all, we say this: never let a policeman into your house without a warrant. They're happy they can stand on the doorstep. If they don't like it, tough. Secondly, be aware that the government will do anything it can to keep things secret, to keep them hidden, and to keep them away from the eyes of the public, prying eyes, because it will embarrass them massively. Peter Todd has learnt his lesson, I think. No way, again, will police be allowed in without a warrant. Also, of course, he now has got to make sure that he has multiple copies of all the things he's been sent, kept in separate locations, backed up, double backed up, and that some of this should be held by sources that cannot be readily accessed by the police. For example, a solicitor, but where client privilege exists. Something like that. The other thing, of course, is he must dump it into the public realm as soon as possible. Simply that way, there's no way of taking it back. And you can show up this government for what they are. He is a hero. Well done, Peter Todd. I know it must have been quite stunning when these officers turned up. They don't turn up for crimes, you understand, but they'll turn up to save the arse of the SNP government. And so there he is, up in Thurso, long way up. So they probably had to travel quite some distance to get to him as well. But anyway, there we go. He is someone that will continue, I hope, desperately, to be an absolute thorn in the side of the SNP and the authorities in general. And I do hope he will continue in his quest to bring truth to the masses. As will I. Thank you very much. Goodbye.